Well, good evening and welcome to a very important evening here, the AMMNA Championships at the Bendat Stadium in Perth, Western Australia's preliminary final time for the Men's Open. And New South Wales and Victoria will go head-to-head over the next 60 minutes. The winner on to play WA in the grand final tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And the loser, well, they'll play off for third and fourth, but they won't be playing for the gold medal. Sue Gordian's my name. Good to be back in commentary tonight for the big game, and a very special guest alongside us tonight. Of course, the millions of you tuning in simply here because this man's with us. Former Australian men's player, captain, current premiership title coach for the West Coast Fever, Mr. Daniel Ryan. Danny boy, welcome.
Gordy, great to be here. Thanks for having me, and what a wonderful introduction of making a little bit over the top, hey?
Yeah. Well, it's just for you, my friend, just for you. All right, so let's bring you the history of these two sides. Met twice already this tournament. Day one, New South, a big win over the Victorians, 43-31. And then they re-met again on day four, and Victoria were able to get themselves up and across the line with a 2-goal lead at the final siren, 43-41. So promises to be a big game. New South Wales will get us underway with the centre pass in the traditional light blue heading to your left and the dark navy blue for the Vics going to your right of picture. And expect some big defensive pressure from the Vic men. Very impressive structures. Forcadia down the line. Well, look at that. Good patience, though, from New South Wales, and eventually they find their way into Starhilski. New South on the board.
Always difficult coming out for a preliminary final at Nationals after such a long week, and particularly for Victoria, who couldn't get over the line against WA, having to back up after a pretty narrow defeat. Momentum obviously coming with New South Wales having knocked off Queensland in the elimination final. So always tough a preliminary final, but a spot on the grand final is what you have to dig deep for.
Eugene Lee in at goal attack, works backwards to Nexip. Little touch, but it'll be New South's ball. Big crowd in at Bendat Stadium. Actually, the crowds have been building throughout the week. There's plenty of interest in this tournament. Lee. Forcadia ignored again, back to the line. So either some hesitation, Dan, from New South, or just some impressive early pressure from the Vics.
Yeah, the Victorians were outstanding defensively, particularly in the first half against WA in the major semi. Forced the WA team to make countless passes before hitting circle edge, and very similar opening here. It's a big back line, and they fill space exceptionally well. They're not only good on the ground, but obviously very rangy in the air and incredibly athletic.
Cowling, cross-court ball to Allen out on the lead. Wasn't much room, but he got through. Richardson, there's Roberts. And the swing around the circle. Brodie Roberts, I thought he tired in the game earlier today, but he had to do an enormous amount of work against the WA Thunder's defence. So it'll be interesting to see how he runs his 60 minutes tonight.
Yeah, his workload in the first three quarters was huge, and they made the change in the fourth quarter and lost him fractionally when they probably really needed him. So a big test for him to back up in this one.
Well, a miss from Starhilski, and the rebound straight into the Vic's hands. Hendricks through the middle, Cowling. Again, big swing out wide to Roberts. And then a little hand in from goal defence Blundell for New South. And look how quickly down the court, through the middle.
Jake Hendricks making Eugene Lee work really hard on that front little sweep. He's built his way into the tournament this week, Eugene Lee, one of the Australian representatives. They'll need a big game from him tonight.
Richardson, little drop ball over the top, and the look away from Roberts. Well, it's his middle name, isn't it? Sometimes the defenders are waiting for it, and other times it looks just like that. 3-3 the score, so blow for blow early. Oh, little hand, Richardson, and then off the hands of the New South defenders.
There's a really good structure there from the Victorian defence, just working in a bit of a natural box formation, working in partnership, and attacking the lateral ball there, Riley Richardson. Very typical structures the Victorians will roll out. Quite a few tools in the toolkit.
Contact the call. So Hendricks, vision down court. Richardson looks across, then down the line to Cowling. So very steady pace at the moment from both sides. Nothing too frantic. But the Vics get the break on New South centre pass. Allen through the middle. Cowling again. Oh, gee, wound up on that ball. Cowling to Roberts.
Just such great timing from Roberts on that baseline. He's so good on the front circle sweep. Just as dangerous along that baseline, and precision feed from Cowling at the top.
Exit. Little touch again, Cowling. Miller and Forcadilla just trying to work the ball to circle edge. They're both on the same side. Have to swing cross to open up. Forcadilla, there you go. He found it into the pocket. And they worked their way through that, Dan, didn't they? Very nicely, New South, under some good pressure.
Yeah, started with a great workload from Forcadilla around that top of the circle, and then they got the punch into the pocket. Nice roll of the circle from the shooters.
Thought about it over the top. Richardson thought better of it. Oh, Allen, just the timing coming through, but not the finish.
He's such an unpredictable goal shooter, very unorthodox occasionally when he makes his moves, but he's proven throughout the week to be quite a threat for them.
He's got some serious hops too. I tell you, when he needs to, he can certainly elevate for that ball. I know most of the guys can, but his spring is enormous.
High shooting volume from Roberts again early in this game. Something to keep an eye on. It's really important the Victorians have two strike shooters balancing that load, because Roberts does a lot of work up the court.
Oh, gee. Right idea, but not well executed from Forcadilla. So New South will now have to go into some transitional defence. We'll have a look at that. See how the Vics manage it. You can see them sitting offline. Byron through Hendricks in the middle, and then opens Cowling. Look at that swing ball cross court. Oh, my goodness. Nothing better than a wind-up shoulder pass. Corridor 1 to 3. They find their way to the ring. Well, they monstered that transition, didn't they, Victoria?
Well, it's the rarity in netball these days, the shoulder pass, so enjoy that while you see it.
I think it's a great discussion to have why it is a rarity. Not time in this game.
Oh, good work. It's just the placement of the feed there. I thought Alum opened his space nicely. Has created the seal off on the screen. Cowling just trying to thread the needle unnecessarily. It's going to be a great battle, Richardson and Forcadilla, two Australian teammates head-to-head. Such pivotal links for their respective sides.
So Victoria now break the lead open to 4. Biggest so far in this opening quarter. New South need to respond. Scoreboard pressure required here. Miller, lovely cut. And, well, it was a lovely give and cut to the circle edge, but couldn't hold the ball.
This first quarter is really important for New South Wales. It's fair to say that Victoria perhaps have a little bit more depth on the bench and a bit more experience to turn to on the bench if they need to manage loads and rest legs, etc. New South Wales need to make sure they stay in touch. This passage of play pretty critical. That doesn't help.
No, offensive contact called on Eugene Lee. He's not happy just on that entry. Umpire was right at the point. So Victoria swing to the pocket. Gee, they've loved that left-hand side of the court, far side.
Yeah, they're using their width really well, Victoria. Happy to swing from channel 1 to channel 3 and open up the court. The mid-quarters linking in nicely early days in this prelim final.
Well, options everywhere for Victoria at the moment, isn't it? Great depth on just loose hands from Roberts, but The structure is beautiful off the centre pass. So New South, Lee has to go back to Blundell. And eventually wasn't overly comfortable on the feed, was he, Forcadia, but gets there in the end. Stahilski finishes, and it'll be an opportunity for New South here to maybe grab 2 in a row. Much needed. 9-5 the score, just over 5 minutes left in this opening quarter. Preliminary final time. The winner on to the GF tomorrow.
Stahilski, also an Australian representative, needs to be a real commanding presence in that circle. He's got to be the go-to guy. And that's a bit better the last couple of passages of play. They need him to stand up and demand that ball from the feeders. Just staying in touch with a margin of 3.
Roberts, top of the circle. Cowling, too easy though, wasn't it? Just released. And the quick offload,
just caught napping on a relaxed moment from the defensive midquarters on the outside. The moment you're standing still, the Victorians are going to hustle ball side, and that ball's going to ping past you.
Oh, look, there's the hops I was talking about. Airtime for Allen.
Even has the strength to drop into a deep squat, and then back up he comes.
Next up, down to Lee. Oh, the hold was on. It was ignored, though,
Hendricks.
and it gave Hendricks a chance, didn't it?
Well, that's the risk of a cross-court ball across the face of the circle. Victoria will look for that.
Miller, quick hands with Lee. Front position, draws the contact from Hendricks. Needs a finish. Lee does the job. So they're in an air-abouts, aren't they? Just that 3-goal buffer. The Victorians, though, have been impressive. Oh, look at that. Well, loose ball. Malmo questioning the umpire. Wasn't thrilled with the call.
Nothing more important in a final than having your attackers play hard defence. That's a big win for New South Wales if they can make it count on the scoreboard here.
Forcadia, bounce pass. Oh, gee, a coach nightmare.
Yeah, good interchange between Lee and Forcadia. An important break here for New South Wales. How quickly it can swing.
So 2 goals the difference now. 3:40 to play. A little momentum shift here maybe for New South Wales.
I reckon Stahilski has an opportunity to be a little bit more active at the back to keep Josh Byron guessing a little bit around what he's doing. He's really stationary when they're stuck up on the transverse line. It's a great pass and cut from Lee.
Oh, gee, yeah, playing around with it. I'd love to see Lee go to post, and look what happens. So the Vicks into transition, straight through the middle corridor. Cowling held up. Roberts steps on to the pocket, though. Oh, and it's an offside call. Well, a wasted opportunity for Victoria. Maybe a get-out-of-jail moment for New South Wales.
Yeah, let's see if they've learnt their lesson. Accountability to attack the post here.
Oh, Miller. Little falcon for Forcadia. Yeah, look at the defence covering the threat at the post. Stahilski, so Lee forced to do the job.
Much better.
So 1 goal the difference now. They've fought back New South Wales. Important here for the Victorians to get their centre pass conversion through. Roberts. Oh, again, there it is. The look away.
It's really interesting at the moment. There's not much between the two teams on the scoreboard, but it seems so much easier for Victoria to get their goals on the board as opposed to New South Wales. And when you think about the context of the game, that will eventually become tiresome for New South Wales if they can't find a little bit more of a direct avenue to goal.
Like you can see, 5 or 6 or 7 odd balls to get to that man there, Stahilski, to finish it.
And that's much better mechanics in the circle. Lee ripping the front space. Stahilski being a real dominant force on the back space. Keep those defenders guessing.
Beautiful drive from Roberts on the base. He's then forced to have to sweep the top, so huge work rate coming from the man that takes the shot. It doesn't drop, though, but he's there for the rebound. No, the offensive contact. The call on Allen. So a minute 26, plenty of time here.
Oh, Malmo. He was so good at that in the semi-final against Western Australia in the first half. He read that mid-court ball so well. Dangerous, just floating.
Well, a Malmo goal off the hand of Brodie Roberts. And they break open for 2 goals here. Final minute to play in this opening quarter. New South need to keep this scoreboard pressure going. Great ball into Starhilski and no call from the umpire. Oh, gee.
Yeah, that's an unlucky one for New South Wales, but great to see the intent to let the second ball go when Starhilski's in that post-up position one-on-one. Space was there for him.
Still plenty of time here for Victoria. All going to plan. There'll be another centre pass to play. Look at the circle open up. Perfect timing on entry from Roberts. And the Victorians will take a centre pass with 23 seconds to play in this quarter. Cowling under pressure. Oh, no call from the umpire.
That's a great call from the umpire. Dylan Nexip was so clean on that contest, and Cowling played for the penalty.
7 seconds, and Nexip, well, he spent it before he earned it. 3 seconds, Cowling, they're screaming at him. He wasn't aware of the clock. Too busy seeing if his footwork was correct at the line, so maybe a missed opportunity there for Victoria, but at the end of the first break, it is the Victorian Men's Open side leading New South Wales by 3 goals. This is the AMMNA Championships coming to you from the Bendat Stadium here in Perth, and it is preliminary final time. We'll be back right after the break. Welcome back as we head into the second quarter Men's Open preliminary final. And we are searching for team number 2 to take on WA Thunder tomorrow in the grand final. Terrific opening first 15 minutes. Victoria certainly dominating throughout the corner, but a little momentum run, Dan, towards the back end saw New South come back. 3 goals the difference, 13-10.
Yeah, credit to New South Wales. Very important that they stayed in touch with Victoria, and momentum and all the energy on the side of Victoria for the majority of that quarter, but well and truly alive as we start the second term.
So no changes on court to report. Both coaches choosing to remain with their line, and the Vics with a little early win. Allen right out of the circle. Up sniffing that transverse line, wasn't he? So penalty on Nexip. Richardson sets up. High ball, there's that Unbelievable leap. He goes early, but he's just got air time, hasn't he?
He absolutely floats. The hang time is sensational. As to the shot from Brodie Roberts, good start to this second quarter for Victoria. Chance to break the centre and lock it in here. Put New South Wales under all sorts of pressure early.
Allen just sitting high in the circle. Lovely little drive to the line from Hendricks, back and used again.
Richardson very crafty with the ball. Understands the mentality of patience. Played a lot of his netball with Brodie Roberts. They know each other inside and out. Started as young teenagers in the Victorian underage teams, all the way to the Australian Open team.
So the first couple to Victoria. And again, similar to the way they opened that first quarter, just with real patience.
We'll change off camera for the New South Wales team at goalkeeper. Victor Nikolic is coming into that role, so Price is out of there.
Well, the Victorians up and about defensively here. A little win as Eugene Lee gets the contact. So keep your eyes on Nikolic. He came off the court, Dan, in the game earlier this morning, I think, with the ankle injury. So there was a lot of talk maybe he wouldn't be even up and ready for this game.
And big raps on him too. He's a real danger player back there for New South Wales. So they'll be loving having him back out on court. And let's see what impact he can make to try and disrupt this Victorian shooting circle.
Confidence from Roberts straight away. So 6 goals the lead here. Cowling goes down on the decal. And then Nikolic was out hunting, wasn't he? Left Allen at the post. So some real confidence from Victoria. Al Punchin now comes on at goal defence as Hendricks goes for a rest. And the rotation defensively for the Vics continues.
Oh, it's great depth if you can have...
Oh, Byron! Sorry, Dan, but front position and paid.
Yeah, amazing work from Josh Byron at the back. It's, I was going to say, fantastic depth for Victorians to have an Al Punchin sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
There's some serious size in that Victorian backline. Just starting to take a bit of ownership of this final. That's a great ball.
Oh, gee, I reckon that was an offensive contact that the umpire didn't see. Clear push off from Cameron Allen. Anyhow.
Well, a 3-goal lead has very quickly gone out to an 8-goal lead. New South Wales yet to score in this second quarter.
Well, look at that. Too easy for the Victorians. So the question's now being asked from New South Wales. They're going to have to respond. They need some conversion, firstly, at this end of the court. Nexip under pressure. Goes with Miller to the line. So
well, he's the captain. They need a bit more out of him in a defensive role there to try and pick up and win some ball. We can see standing in the substitution box, Jamal Nicholson. Now, he's a ball winner. Incredibly athletic and chaotic, but knows how to come up with ball.
So we'll get the court wiped here. 19-10, Dan, tell us a little bit about Jamal Nicholson.
Well, represents the England Thorns. He's a goal defence. He can also play down in the front end, but his vertical leap, his anticipation, his closing speed is second to none. An absolute ball magnet when it comes to flying for those intercepts. So we'll see if he can make a bit of an impact if he gets his opportunity on court. But it's exactly what New South Wales need now. They need to create a little bit of disruption and, importantly, get hand to ball, because Victoria have that ball on a string at the moment, just like that.
Well, great vision, wasn't it? Over the mess from Richardson into the backspace to Roberts. And that will be a finish from Brodie Roberts. So
Here comes Nicholson.
Yeah, Victorians flying as Jamal Nicholson subs onto the court. Oh, Hendricks able to keep ball in play. Just great width being used by the Victorians. Real willingness to swing cross court. Mind you, I would call that opportunity though as well, Dan.
Absolutely.
Allen! Well, the crowd enjoyed that.
The nickname is Bambi. And he's putting on a show and a half so far in this final.
Miller Eugene Lee just pushing right in at the ball.
Must score here for New South Wales, non-negotiable.
The last couple of feeds in from Forcadia have been lacking confidence, haven't they? They've been quite hesitant.
Again, just the command and demand from Starhilski, not quite there against the strength of Josh Byron. And it's putting a bit of hesitation into the New South Wales feeders.
Well, a big first 5 minutes from Victoria, punching to a 10-goal lead here at the moment after being up by 3 at quarter time. Brady Roberts has been in everything.
Absolutely up and about. Jack Vandervelde now into the centre role for New South Wales. So the New South Wales coaching staff not wasting any time in trying to impact. And that's not a way that Jamal Nicholson will want to start. A ball over the sideline.
Hendricks, gee, I'll tell you what, he has been doing an enormous amount of work bringing ball through court. And they are utilising him. Richardson, lovely little cut and drive, pushes to the circle edge, can't get there. Vandervelde, the contact. Just feel like the work rate from Victoria is vastly up from New South Wales.
Well, there's so many times where they're catching the ball cleanly and free because the work off the ball is allowing them to take it without contest and then straight away nail the next pass onto their teammate. The ball speed is absolutely killing New South Wales at the moment. Just lacking a little bit of ability to delay and deny anything forward quickly. And again, the use of the width.
Well, there you go. A little impact moment. Eventually coming for Nikolic. Outside arm used. And Jamal Nicholson into the play. So the 3 rolling subs all involved for New South Wales. Now down to Lee. Starhilski again. Probably not a great deal of strength or positioning in that back space. And he's just taken an elbow from Josh Byron.
Credit there too to Richardson and Malmo on the edge of the circle. Just really shutting down the connection on that edge.
Oh, Byron, well, perfectly timed. They get the go at the goal again. So only 1 of 2 goals scored from New South in this quarter. Nice outside arm, Richardson.
It's another really important passage of play for New South Wales. They need to be absolutely in touch at the main break with Victoria. Keep that scoreboard pressure ticking over. It's getting heated there between Vandervelde and Richardson. Lots of pushing and shoving on the cuts. Hedrick's doing a great job at just eliminating the sweep from Eugene Lee. It's tough in there for New South Wales.
Couple in a row, though, so they just need some defensive impact as New South Wales. Cowling's just sitting free.
Here we go.
Well, here's the moment. Vandervelde, Starhilski, big drive to the circle edge. Lee, he'll look to go again.
Needs to cut the front again if Starhilski's going to sit at the back. Oh, the work rate.
Yeah, but the angle from Starhilski just not there, is it?
Yeah, and then pushed onto the baseline, and that's what happens. Oh, lucky.
Nice little fake Miller. So New South prepare again under pressure from the Victorians here. Starhilski out, Lee smothered.
Oh, they're really having to work for their goals here, and that takes its toll. Starhilski needs to post up.
Just really one-dimensional, isn't it, Starhilski at the moment? And that one dimension is being covered well and truly by the Victorian defence. So Riley Richardson rolls to the bench, takes a rest as Jack Noonan comes on.
Oh, the lift again.
Yeah. I reckon Jake Noonan, I was watching him earlier today, I just think he comes on and steadies things for Victoria. Richardson certainly has the speed. Noonan, for me, a bit more of a balance. There he is hustling on Vandervelde. Eventually Vandervelde finds the space, back space to start. Yeah, again, angle, Dan.
Yeah, angle and placement of the feed too, a little bit low. and difficult to sight. I'd like to see him just take a couple of steps higher in the circle and get a quick release off the hand so he's got a bit more room to work behind him. But credit to Byron, he's pushing him exactly where he wants him.
8 the difference. 5 minutes still to play in this second quarter. It was Victoria by 3, 13-10 at the quarter time break. And now extend their lead out to 9 goals. New South having to roll the subs on to find solutions. Miller, Van de Vel. Space in the circle for Starhilski, but no vision to see him. Nice little play to the circle edge from the mid-court. There's some height on the ball and well held. Well, that was an impossible ball to get to defensively, and it gets the finish from Starhilski. So New South just hanging about.
Oh,
Big
that's
hands.
Good hands. That's what he's there for.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamel Nicholson following up with it too. They need to take risks, don't they, Dan, to be honest with you. 3:55 on the clock.
And things can turn so quickly in a men's game, the speed in which these teams can score. If you look at the major semi-final where we had WA and Victoria leading almost by 10 goals at one stage and really in control of the game, and they'd go down and lose by a couple. Nicholson!
Oh, well read.
He had to pull that in.
Yeah, needed to go with 2 hands, but it falls to the Victorians. And it's their chance here to punish. Lovely front hold from Allen.
That is the danger a little bit with Nicholson. As good as he is in terms of creating chaos and flying at ball, he probably can be a little bit ill-disciplined at what he goes for. We need to make sure he stays in play so he can remain a threat. That's good hands, though.
Roberts, yeah, eventually.
Terrific.
Yep, lovely sweep and a little offload. Shooter to shooter. So the Victorians find another road to goal.
He's so good with that shooter-to-shooter connection because I think every time he does it, it's almost a surprise because it's not telegraphed at all.
Well, that's the best centre pass passage of play from New South Wales for some period of time. And they need a little bit more of that. You said that before, Dan. Some efficiency to post so that they don't become so fatigued over the 60 minutes. And certainly take its toll at some point later in the game, if not already. Noonan. Oh, yep, well, there's a little one in the back.
It's a fine line there for the New South Wales defensive unit. They're trying to sit and clog the middle corridor a little bit, but Victoria are really allowing it because they're going for the width and the wide ball. Alum not happy with a finger. Looks in a bit of pain.
So a couple of changes being made at the other end of the court. I think a bit of a blood rule on Alum. So Josh Byron putting on the goal shooter bib. We saw that earlier today in the final quarter of the game against WA. So Byron into shooter. Melmo goes back to goalkeeper. Brodie Roberts the middle. Making the defenders guess, isn't he? The little look away or the fake. And now the finish.
And Sutton moving into wing defence for Victoria too. So Coach Jared Murphy just freshening up the legs in a couple of key positions. Sutton on debut for the Victorian Open team coming through the men's pathway. His first nationals in the Open side.
When you talk about the depth of the Victorian bench, and you have a look now at the circle, and it's Melmo and Punchin. And you've got Byron that's moved up to the goal shooter role. Yeah. Still strength and strength, isn't it?
The versatility is pretty impressive. And Melmo goes from wing defence to goalkeeper. And Byron from goalkeeper to goal shooter.
Quick offload from Lee to Starhilski. Good connection. And then the big block rejection from behind. And the crowd enjoyed that moment as well.
That's going to put a bit of a dent in the confidence of Starhilski. He's got to keep attacking the post here.
Oh, Eugene Lee, well, he's head-butted the ball after tripping. Just over a minute to play here. 9 goals the difference. Noonan under a New South sandwich pressure. Vandervelde to go out of play. Cowling now in the pocket. Back to the line. Roberts just trying to find through the middle, and eventually, though, it just opens Byron up cleverly in the front space at the back. Has a first look at a goal, though, and it doesn't go. Big reflection from Nikolic.
Critical here for New South Wales to finish this first half with a couple extra on the board. 30 seconds.
Yeah, just the one option next. See, have a look at that, though. There was nothing coming at the ball. They look down and tired, New South Wales. They're going to have to find something special.
You've got to question the work rate.
Just the desire.
If they want it, they're going to have to step it up. It's pretty simple. This is all about grit in a preliminary final. And you've got to find something. Victoria absolutely in control.
Well, there's a little moment from Jamal Nicholson. Even just to stop a goal here would be a small win for New South Wales. Roberts, surely he's going to do the look away. And then the contact penalty before the siren, so it will be a penalty from Roberts to finish off the quarter. Brodie Roberts to line up in a space that he's oh so familiar in, and slots another goal in for New South Wales and takes them out to the biggest lead of the game, that being 10 goals, 27-17. So the first 30 minutes definitely been owned by Victoria here as they come in to a huddle in the middle and just remind themselves why they're here and what they are here to do. Let's head to the big break, and when we come back, we'll settle in for the second half of this Men's Open preliminary final right here at the Bendat Stadium.
Having a pretty good season this year, Andy.
By the look of this lot, you are too.
Well, we've got a good team out in the field. You want to go meet them?
Sure. So what do you grow here?
We've got broccolis, collies over there, carrots, you name it. We harvest it today, catch, and it's in the stores tomorrow.
So you guys are the midfielders of the fruit and veg.
At Spot Shed, we grow it.
We sell it, you save.
Giving this season everything we've got. Just try and stop us. Don't miss the excitement of West Coast Fever at RAC Arena. Tickets on sale now at ticketek.com.au. Giving this season everything we've got. Just try and stop us. Don't miss the excitement of West Coast Fever at RAC Arena. Tickets on sale now at ticketek.com.au.
Well, it's been a big week of netball as the Australian men's and mixed national championships head towards the pointy end of the week as finals today and grand finals tomorrow will play out right here, centre court tonight. New South Wales taking on Victoria in our men's open, a 10-goal lead at the moment to the Victorian side, so plenty of work to do for New South Wales. Big shout out to some of the sponsors supporting the AMMNA Championships, to Bladen WA, Great Temptation Sweet Treats, Spud Shed, West Coast Fever and Netball WA. And also to mention the Victorians, also proudly sponsored by DMAC Apparel, Metro Plumber, Inspire Netball Group and the VMMNA Junior M League. So plenty of people getting behind the guys, making sure they are tip-top ready financially and whatever else is needed to get them here in Perth. So we get underway with the second half. Dan, what do New South Wales need to sort out here?
Well, they've got to get their scoring volume up first and foremost. Only 7 goals in that second quarter to Victoria's 14. Not enough to impact on the scoreboard, but absolutely not out of this. And they made a couple of good changes with Liam Fukadia coming back into the mid-court. So he's moved from centre into wing attack now. And Miller moves into the middle. Callum Price back in on court at goal defence. So some of the bigger names and more established players back on court, but will it be enough to try and eat into this deficit will be the key. Forkadee is going to be key for them coming back into the midcourt. He's a playmaker, he's a general. They need him firing.
So next up, just back there at wing defence, trying to find their way through and struggling at the moment, but possession the key. Miller out wide. So eventually they draw a penalty on Victoria. Be right at the top of the goal third. And eventually, so some patience from New South Wales, which was probably well needed a little earlier on in that second quarter. Good to see they've come out to rectify that.
Well, it took them a good 5 minutes before they even put a score on the board in the second, and you can't afford to do that against Victoria, let alone in a preliminary final. That ball's got to go to Starhilski. He's got to try and get that front foot sealed around the defender. He gets in a bit of a T-hold position, but it actually is open for the defender to get their feet around. And
So,
Costly again.
Yeah, Costly, wayward ball. Punching through. Josh Byron, lovely swing. So the moving circle for Victoria. Byron and Roberts. Byron again. And an easy under the post for Victoria.
And a break of the centre too. That hurts. Back to the 10 margin again.
Cowling, just great vision and patience, isn't it? Really content to wait for something to open. And then offloads nicely down court. Roberts into the pocket.
I feel Nexip's giving him a little bit too much room. I said before, he's sitting in the middle corridor looking for the shooter coming out the top, where, in fact, he's actually releasing the ball into the pocket to his wing attack in Cowling all the time. And Victoria have just really exposed the width in this game so far.
I feel like Nexip and Miller just got to get back to that real hardcore one-on-one and allow Nikolic the chance to try and have the pressure build in front of him, and then he can have a look and see if he can have a fly. At the moment, though, as you mentioned, way too much space.
Again, this transverse line, it's a troublesome area. The pressure from Victoria is elite.
Holds on to it, though, does Callum Price. Miller and Lee.
So they're not even looking at the circle at times where they should. Get the ball up, get a visual connection. Look again.
Lee sneaks the baseline. Well, there's a quick release just on the whistle, so clever stuff from Forcadia. Finds Stahilski. Brody Roberts just out free, far side. They open it up. There he is, Cowling. Terrific drive. He's having a ripper game. Courtesy of maybe too much space, as you mentioned, Dan.
Yeah, he's finding the circle edge really well, and he's letting the ball go off his hand really swiftly too. Commanding that top of the circle in the pocket. It's good variety. Here's a cheap one for New South Wales. They've got to make it count.
Set the penalty for Nikolic. So next it down the line, Forcadia. They swing out wide. There's a bit of better work rate. The give and go's working. Just ball speed. Need to get going. Next it was slow to release. Forcadia was sitting out wide. Eventually though through Lee. So the transition and the finish for New South Wales. And they break the Victorian centre pass.
A little bit of momentum here with New South Wales. They're starting to get those connections. That ball's got to go. It was on. You can't second guess. That is what happens. Disappointing. Victoria looking to make him pay down the other end.
Noonan. Again, back to the line. Plenty of work being done by the wing defence and goal defence for both sides. Always alive back at the line. Roberts under the post. Sure thing for him.
His ability to actually catch the ball high in the circle towards the edge and land under the post. It's great to watch. Such an athlete.
A little bit too much that on that ball for Cowling. So Nikolic. Good vision, cross, next it down the middle to Miller. Nice connection through the midcourt. Lee again forced backwards. This is where they're breaking down because of the pressure. Malmo, well, it's came out and caught Forcadia. It's a contact on Forcadia. I don't know.
It was a tough line and angle that he took, just flat across the top of the circle. Probably needed a bit of an angle punching up at the ball, but Malmo read it really well to set that one up.
Richardson now back onto the quarters. Noonan takes a rest.
Great shot, Brody Roberts. Over the long arm of Nikolic. Great release. Well, you see how quickly it changes. Victoria back out to 11. New South Wales just moments ago had a centre pass to get it within 8.
Nice little footwork for Kadia. There he is again. I'm going to say it again, Dan. I feel like when they do go to sight Stahilski, there's just not enough strength on the hold to give confidence to the feed.
Well, sometimes all it needs is a simple hand. Yes, I want the ball. Give it to me. There it is. At the moment, it's just a little bit of a head nod here and there. Sometimes it's nothing. But if they're lacking a little bit of confidence as a unit, just those visual cues, critically important. And you can just see it's wearing thin on them at the moment. It's a test of resilience down there as well for New South Wales.
Well, at the other end for Victoria, it's a showcase, isn't it? The hands were quick, the minds were quick, and Roberts does the finish. And their confidence is building as this game unfolds.
Great timing on that second phase drive and the third phase link. And just the patience there from Richardson to hold up the feed a fraction until Byron had popped. Well executed, Victoria.
$13 goals the difference now. Victoria continuing to push that lead out halfway through the third. Stahilski under the ring. Next it comes off. So that's an interesting one. Dylan Nexit.
Well, they need to keep finding something. And look, Van der Vel, he's full of energy. He made a bit of an impact when he come in at centre. He'll get amongst it. There's no question about that.
Oh, down the line for New South Wales. Beautiful work. Miller, Lee in the backspace, and there was nowhere near enough on it. Ambitious at best, wasn't it? Oh, loose ball. Crumbs punching, tries to protect.
Next it back on the court, now at goal defence, so pulling the changes. That's a good ball.
So the Vics get another opportunity here. Samuel Rabuku on. Oh, lovely work from Forcadia. Richardson's feet were planted on the ground. And Forcadia came through. They need the reward for the moment. Samuel Rabuku. First look at the post. Off the hand. It's play on, though. It was off the hand of the Victorian defence.
It's a really important part here for Eugene Lee as the experienced campaigner. I was about to say to step up, but the coach is stepping him out. And Starhilski now in at goal attack. So we'll see how this one plays out. New South Wales in disarray as Victoria to start to put the foot down.
Jaden Cowling now comes to the bench. He got an enormous applause from the crowd as he sat down. Well, Punchin also off, looking exhausted at the end of the court. Meantime, down this end, the lift to no avail.
Well, they're putting him under all sorts of pressure. Rubuku needs to hit this one, settle his way into it.
Just quickly on the lift, what I find amazing is the person doing the lift might be at 3 feet, but the person they're lifting is closer than 3 feet. I've seen that time and time again since being here this week. It's obstruction immediately.
Absolutely.
I don't think the umpires are calling it quick enough, to be honest.
And some fine lines too on goaltending, whether the ball's dropping down or whether they're taking it out of the air before it drops. It's a fine line.
So some big changes for Victoria as they probably start to, well, the coach at least probably starts to have some vision, Dan, towards tomorrow. Never call a game early, but very mindful that there will be some much needed energy required from whoever plays tomorrow against the WA Thunder. Next up onto the line, Forcadia. The hospital pass, it makes its way though, and it needs a finish. Rabuka does it in the end.
So back at 11, you think if New South Wales can get this comfortably under 10 heading into three-quarter time, they're an off chance. That's better. A bit more punch onto the ball and wanting it in that circle. It's a high shot. It's well off.
(34-23). 3.5 to play. Hendricks back on. Richardson. Oh, yeah, Noonan. Well, no sign of the defender coming through. It was a good effort by Nexip. And again, Victoria find themselves at the perfect real estate point under the ring. The swing to Noonan. Josh Byron, speed. Off the foot, though. So New South again with another little opportunity. Need to make it count just to keep within range before this final 15 minutes. Nikolic, cross court, Miller, backspace, and then just straight into the hands, wasn't it, of Sutton. There's been some real hesitation in New South's execution.
Well, they've just lacked the flow and timing too that Victoria have had. It's been quite clunky in the build-up. Victoria have had some really seamless transitions, and the linkage from player to player has been quite slick. It hasn't been the same for New South Wales, and, you know, credit to Victoria's defence that's forced the hesitation and the confusion at times. But also, too, just some skill execution when it really needs to be nailed, particularly when opportunities are few and far between, when the margin creeps out. Everything matters. Here's another chance. 2 minutes to go.
Short one, wasn't it, for Roberts? He's been dead eye for this entire game to date. He hasn't had a lot of rest time either. He's someone I'd probably, I mean, whether or not they play him from the bench in the last 15, we'll wait and see. But certainly a much-needed player for the Victorian side is Brodie Roberts. Quick wiping of the floor, and we'll get back underway. 2 minutes on the clock. Vandervelde back space to Forcadia. Only one look forward. Contact the call at the top of the circle. Hendricks out of play. Quick offload. And it'll be another contact. So Samuel Rabuku.
Every ball, every drive is under pressure.
Including that one, Dan.
Nothing is easy. They are making New South Wales work. That's a good shot from Starhilski.
New South centre pass. Plenty of time here, a minute on the clock. 11 the difference. Starhilski forced to go backwards. Contact on Noonan. And again, another contact. All clock consuming.
Oh, good move from Forcadia at the top of the circle. Needs to go to post. It's a good little dish off, though. Shooter to shooter. And they're hanging in there.
They are indeed. Roberts, lovely lead up the middle from Byron. They've got plenty of time here. Can be patient, Victoria. Roberts steps on, little fake, and back to Richardson sitting off waiting. Oh, and then wayward ball.
Okay,
So
huge here for New South Wales. If they want to get themselves in this prelim final, this is the moment right here, and that is not going to do it.
Well, little kick step from Richardson. The Victoria spoil the moment for New South and claim one for themselves. And as the siren goes, the Victorians have set themselves up perfectly for this final 15 minutes. That's all there is left to play in this preliminary final. As I mentioned, the winner goes on to play WA Thunder in the grand final for the Men's Open Championships of 2023 tomorrow. That'll be a 1 p.m. game. But for now, it is New South as we head into the final break, leading, well, trailing, should I say, definitely not leading, trailing by 11 to Victoria. 15 minutes of netball to play out here. Terrific preliminary final. Victoria certainly owning the momentum of the game. There's been moments for New South Wales. They go in trailing by 11. And we get ourselves underway in the final quarter. Friday evening AMMNA Championships live in Perth. Hope you're enjoying the stream here on Clutch TV.
First 5 minutes of this fourth quarter is critically important. 9-8 to Victoria in the third quarter, so just a one goal advantage, but when you've got a 10-goal lead at half-time, just maintenance most important.
Well, there's a moment as Vandervelde gets in amongst the contest on Noonan.
I hope there was some discussions in the New South Wales break at three-quarter time around the importance of just chipping away here at Victoria, remembering Victoria led for the majority of the game against Western Australia in their semi-final. It was only until the last 3 minutes of the game where WA got in front. So they have squandered a lead, but not nailing shots like that won't help.
Sutton, lovely vision cross court, only option that was open. Roberts moves into goal shooter this quarter. Byron out of goal attack. Just making his way in through the messes, Byron. There he is, pops out through the middle. And plenty of space for Josh Byron. So a little too easy there for the Vics. It needed the finish, and instead the big arm of Victor Nikolic comes in.
I was going to say, this is so important, this passage of play here. Ultra discipline on the build-up. Doing the work off the ball. Hardness onto the catch. Get to the circle edge. All the basics right now matter most.
For Kadia.
Oh, good
Patience.
pop. Great timing.
Need the finish though. Rabuku missed an easy one of similar range just a second ago, but this one drops for the goal shooter. So New South Wales, certainly the best of their starts as far as the quarter is concerned this game. Oh, look at that. Malmo, terrific timing. Eyes for the ball. This Victorian defence has continued to punish, hasn't it? It's begged questions for this New South Wales attack. They've had to roll the combinations.
Oh, next hip should have been right on the transverse line then, and look at them now. They're having to go all the way back. And that's what happens. Extra passes, accumulated pressure, and the spoil.
High ball into Roberts, the vision from Richardson, and then he finds himself top of the circle. So it's the Richards and Roberts show. Almost a replayed ball, not to be. Roberts, Richardson. Miller's fought hard, hasn't he, in centre for New South Wales. I reckon that's been a better position for him than in at wing attack.
I think Vandervelde's made a good difference too when he's come back onto the court, particularly at wing defence.
Just a bit more hustle on that one-on-one.
Yeah, the tenacity's been very good. Well, New South had a chance there to get it within 8. Sorry, get it within under 10, should I say.
Byron, yeah, looking too quickly through the hands. Lucky, though, because the contact goes on Vandervelde at the top of towards the transverse line. Oh, quick offload, Richardson. He just knew where that setup was. Just a little confusion, so a bit of a warning going to New South Wales goalkeeper, Victor Nikolic. I wasn't sure what it was for, but he doesn't seem to be too worried about it. He gets straight in with the rebound.
Eugene Lee back on the court for New South Wales at goal attack, up against Hendricks. So a bit more speed in there now. Let's see if they can maximise this.
Speed, Joe Miller speed. Swings, Eugene Lee.
That's better. He's got to hit this shot.
Well, he
gotta
needs
go
to
to post.
sight the post, yeah. He goes Samuel Oh, yeah, and a miss again. So just nowhere near the confidence for the easy shot under the post from Rabuku.
Well, they're not going to win this game unless they go for it, and behaviours like that demonstrate they're not backing themselves in to get across the line here. Another interesting change for New South Wales. So Cullen Price comes back in as a goalkeeper, and Nikolic has gone from goalkeeper to goal shooter. So they're definitely looking for a target in there, because they're going to need some quick goals soon. That's good from Nexip. Outside arm too.
And the transition through court. Lee in 3 balls at the top of the circle. Then the height. Well, what a contest from Melmo. He's going to be called for contact.
Lee was a little slow on the release to give it to Nikolic. It's a very different looking circle to what it was just a moment ago.
It's interesting though, Lee should have taken that shot. All the attention from Hendricks was on Nikolic, and that Lee had a easy shot at the post with no defence over him.
Here we go, back to 9.5 on the clock.
Terrific stuff from Sutton. First ball contest. So injury time being called by Josh Byron. And so they'll roll the changes. Maybe just a little mindful, Victoria, here. As Allen comes back onto the court in at goal shooter. And Brodie Roberts heads back to his starting position of goal attack.
Yep, take no risks in a preliminary final. Whatever it takes to get across the line, do it.
Swing, Malmo thought, looked, didn't quite get there. And Eugene Lee gets the finish.
Well, if New South Wales can turn this one over, this is going to be interesting. Victoria will look for a settler here, will test their poise and their maturity.
Vandervelde, Nelly, Noonan steps on and then into Miller. It'll be contact though on Richardson. And beautiful feed, Riley Richardson. Well, he's come back onto the court with some real presence. The centre for Victoria.
Oh, good hands pressure from Roberts. Creates the turnover.
Again, Richardson, the fake. Too much on it, though. Brodie Roberts was there for the taking. So New South here. Contact. Need to get moving, and Nexip knows it. Goes long to Miller. I'd love to see Nexip drive harder through court to the line.
Absolutely. Just lingering at the back there. Needs to get punching, because they're going to need him in a moment. If they can't go forward, they're going to come back and end up all the way at half court.
Lee has to swing, sets the screen, and
There
the
we
beautiful pass for Forcadia goes straight in to Nikolic, and they get the goal. So keeping that 8-goal margin, 7:30 on the clock. Sutton out wide, steadies. Allen out doing the work out front. Yeah, so injury time being called, and Dylan Nexip, I just noticed, Dan, when we were commenting before about him getting to the line, he was actually kicking his leg. I reckon it's a calfie. So that may be all we see of Dylan Nexip. Yeah, and he's just stepping up onto the massage table and has indicated his right calf, or left calf, should I say. New South, Miller.
I'm surprised there's not more calf injuries considering the load these boys have had throughout the week. 2 games a day for a week. It's a tough ask.
It's enormous.
And it's all on the line right now. And here come New South Wales. They're not out of this. We're at 7 goals and just under 7 minutes to play.
New South centre pass. Lee, nice little dodge, finds the ball. Look at the pressure along the transverse line. Contact the call, top of the circle. Lee needs to get moving. The clock is critical here.
You've got to take on this contest. Go to post here, Eugene Lee. Step it up. Great shots.
Back to 6. So Victoria need to use their experience here and just settle for a goal. Richardson, long ball. Cowling. Just a bit of hesitancy, isn't there? Except for that pass. Beautiful drive along the baseline.
It's a settler here for Brodie Roberts. Just a sigh of relief. But the challenge is coming.
Blundell in at goal defence. Need some fresh legs, don't they now? Options at the line.
Oh,
Next
good
on the
cut.
bench.
When Liam Forcadell takes the pass and cut heading towards circle edge, he's so good. Great explosive speed.
Nikolic, front ball, turns around. That is a gimme for him, isn't it?
I wonder what it would look like if that move was made a little bit earlier.
I wonder why it wasn't.
He's proven to be a great target, a good foil for Eugene Lee's speed out the front too. It's coming together for New South Wales, but is it too late? Oh, Vandervelde. Gee, he's been good. I tell you what, he has been an absolute menace in defence for New South Wales.
4:50 on the clock, 39-33. New South trying to fight back here, finding a way. Miller. Lee caught, yeah, flat-footed, looks at the umpire, but it was a clean contest of the ball. So Victoria now just to settle and take some wind out of their sails, the New South Wales side.
You wonder if that moment right there is the game, particularly if Victoria can lock this one in. And they'll take their time in doing so. Roberts, that split. It was off.
Falls short, rebound, a little tap from Miller, and Blundell finds the ball. Brodie Roberts slow to get up in the back of play. Up now though. Forcadell, Miller, nice give and go cut, used Eugene Lee and then through the hands.
Twice. Oh, they've certainly had their opportunities, New South Wales. Roberts just wanting to work himself closer to the post.
Well, he won't need to because the penalty brings him there. And the beautiful pressured shot from Roberts. Lovely high release. Puts them to 40. 7 goals the difference. 3:22 on the clock. Need to be as direct as they can be.
You see he wants it too. He's got his arm up. Nikolic. Should have gone a couple of passes earlier.
And the ball went out of court. It was off Nikolic. So Victoria, long ball to Cowling. Straight over the mess. And you watch the momentum come the way of the Victorians now. They'll breathe a sigh of relief because they were placed under pressure for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Probably a little bit too much to ask, isn't it, of New South Wales at this point. 2:40 to play, and that will probably be the sealer.
Well, it's a good response from Victoria. They've just demonstrated some patience, taken the sting out of the game when they needed to, learnt some lessons from their semi-final loss to Western Australia, and on the verge of booking themselves a spot in the final.
Oh, a little bit of showtime from Riley Richardson.
He's been good. He's been very good.
So,
back out to 9.
Yeah, finishing with some confidence, the Victorians. New South, very slow to start. Continue to work their combinations until they've found some rhythm right here in this last quarter. Allen, option the back space, not used. Richardson, though, the swing to Roberts. Oh, and there's a little off. Well, there's the confidence I was talking about. When the pressure is off, a little bit of fun starts to happen. 90 seconds to play out. The preliminary final. Men's Open. There's been some terrific games played here today at the AMMNA Championships. The semi-finals were enormous. We'll
have a repeat of those 2 matches tomorrow.
Into the pocket, Cowling.
Oh,
Lovely
the
cut and
cut.
drive. Gee, it's like day one of competition, the way he took that on.
Love
wow.
it. Yeah, full steam ahead for Victoria right now.
Final minute. Ticks over. New South Wales at the post. Eugene Lee, mid-range shot. He's been hesitant to take those throughout this game. Make the difference. The Victorians, they set this win up right from the very first ball, didn't they? And look at that one from Riley Richardson, home alone to Brodie Roberts. Oh, gee, it needed the finish, Mr. Roberts. Allen at the other end. And possibly room for one more goal in this preliminary final, but the Victorian Men's Open side have fought hard. It's been a big day of netball for them, going down to WA earlier in the day and having to get up in this game today. But with 6 seconds on the clock, the Victorian men's will take the final goal off the hand of Brodie Roberts. It won't go in, but it won't matter. They will march their way into another grand final. And the Men's Open preliminary final won by Victoria over New South Wales by 9 goals, 45-36. And it sets us up for an enormous grand final tomorrow. The two best sides making it into the Men's Open grand final, as Victoria will meet a rested WA Thunder. 1 p.m. tomorrow. So a terrific game. The New South Wales side, Dan, they'll go on to play against Queensland. It'll be the same two games, as you mentioned, that unfolded semi-finals.
And a new national champion this year in either Victoria or Western Australia. It's going to be a cracking game of finals tomorrow. But full credit for Victoria, getting themselves up for this one in the prelim final, having the upper hand from quarter one all the way through the game and just weathering the challenge there late in the match. New South Wales certainly having some chances, but perhaps a little bit too late for the team in light blue. And Victoria march on to the decider.
I hope you've enjoyed the coverage here this evening. The AMMNA Championships, 1 day of play still to unfold. It's the biggest day of the week. It is grand final day tomorrow. Rest up, everyone, because when you go to watch at 1 p.m. tomorrow, it will be the West Australians up against the Victorians in what promises to be the blockbuster of the day. Big thanks to Dan Ryan, Sue Gordian. We're off to Brisbane as the West Coast Fever take on the Queensland Firebirds Suncorp Super Netball. But right here, the AMMNA champions. Congratulations to Victoria. Too good today, 45-36 over New South Wales.